The question of the day is, do music producers need music theory? And the answer is, in the beginning, not necessarily. But when you move towards more advanced techniques like Dr. Dre, Scott Storch, Pharrell Williams, Kanye West, those types of producers, yes, you need music theory. It doesn't mean you need to be a musician, that you need to learn how to play all these instruments. It doesn't mean that you need to have masterful ear training. It means that you need to understand how to put music together. And it all starts with music theory. So I have a plugin that's completely free from Labs. It's called Spitfire Audio Lab. And the library sound is called Autograph Grand. What we'll do today is write in the key of B major. So I'll just kind of give you some concepts and show you how this all applies. So let's map out the B major scale from the chord stamp here. And let's just start at B and then add B right here. Okay, let's hit Alt G to ungroup. We're going to use this as a reference. Okay, so let me move it so you can see it. My head might be in the way. Okay, so what we're going to do today is build a 2-5-1 chord progression. What we're referring to is a scale degree. This is very common, like knowing a 2-5-1. What is a minor first versus a major first? These things are critical because when you're producing and you need to go change something or make your samples actually make sense when you line them up, most samples, and the problem that I hear with music production is that they'll take a sample, they'll chop it up, they'll put it together, and then it doesn't resolve properly. So if you're missing bounce or musicality in your song, or like a movement and a structure to it, chances are it's because you're not delving into music theory. Because even without drums and chopping stuff up and moving it, you have structure within the actual music. The music is moving the energy. So without further ado, we can take the second here, okay, which is, okay, so it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then back to the tonic or the first. So we're taking our second, which is the second scale degree. Then we're going to go to the fifth. So it's second, third, fourth, fifth is F sharp. And then we're going to go back to the tonic, it's called. So this is very popular in gospel R&B. Now to build out chords, all you do is you take your scale degree and you skip every other note within that scale until you map out the chord. So in this case, we're going to go C sharp, E, G sharp, and then B. And I'll continue this scale just so you can see it. And then we can skip B, skip C sharp, go to D sharp. And that's the first chord. Let's pull this down an octave. And that's your ninth chord right there. Now, when you're playing these types of chords, you don't necessarily need your seventh. If you have the third, and vice versa, you don't need the third if you have the seventh. Okay, so you can take those notes out if you want. Now we're going to build out the chord for the fifth. So starting at F sharp, we're going to skip G sharp, go to A sharp, skip B, go to C sharp. And then skip D sharp, go to E. Now this creates what's called a dominant seventh chord. Okay, so it's used in a lot of jazz and gospel. Okay, so we're going to continue to make this a dominant ninth by skipping the F sharp, going to G sharp. So all we're doing is skipping the notes in the scale. Now, the reason it sounds tense is what's called a diminished chord. That's right in the middle here. This is a diminished chord. Now let's build out the major. Now, when it comes to major chords, I typically don't use anything past the ninth, but let's just see how far we can go before it sounds cheesy. Okay, so see up here, it creates that diminished once you get into the 11th. So I'm going to take that out. So I've showed this before, but its simple technique is understanding voicing in music production. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is called a tritone substitution. Gives you a whole different vibe. Okay. Also, velocity matters. Let's get into voicing real quick, just to show you the power of voicing. So voicing a chord can change the whole perception. So for example, let's make it like R&B type vibe. This might be a little dense, but let's just see. We're kind of low in the octaves. Let's pull it. You get more of a tense R&B sound. Now again, we're playing at one velocity, so you're not going to get the finesse and me playing it out. Okay, so that's just understanding simple voicing. Now we didn't get into complex voicing, which is multiple notes that are the same. So now I'm going to get into a little bit more about, I'm just showing you what music theory is used for when you get deeper into it, because most people think melodies come out of the sky. Melodies come from harmony. So when people ask me where to move next with the melody, it's because you don't have your chords mapped out. And the chords dictate the energy of where you're moving next. So now let's take the fifth, the ninth. Let's raise this up. Maybe more of an R&B vibe. Okay, it's more like R&B gospel soul sound. This is the power of voicing, by the way. So we came from here. Technically, we came from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's the original chord progression. Sounds very bland, like you would never use that. Now here's a revoicing of the same exact chords. The only difference is we're using a tritone substitution. And an altered dominant chord. So once you understand this stuff, that's how you can delve into different genres. You guys are learning basic chords, but you're not understanding there's more to a chord than just 1, 2, 5, 1. You got to learn how to voice the chord. You got to learn how to play the chord. Let's do a little more technique real quick. And I teach all this in our music theory magic course coming out soon. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory, because I have a new course coming out soon showing you how to do all this. Let's humanize this using a new what's called FL Studio script. We're going to mess with the time offset and velocity offset. Let's just hear the chords for what they are. Okay, so some of these chords, FL Studio mutes the notes when you have overlapping notes. So I'm just fixing the overlapping note issue. Okay, so this is the same chord structure. I just want to point this out. And we're getting 3 different vibes. Okay, and then back to the 2-5-1. But it sounds like we're playing all these different chords. We're playing literally the same 3 chords, but voiced differently. And this is the power of understanding production. Okay, so let's play this whole thing from start to finish, and then I'll show you how melody can go on top of this. So in the meantime, I'll show you here in the typing keyboard. If you right click this, select your root note, which is B, and we're in the key of major, the scale of major. So let's go to major scale. And now you can use your typing keyboard to play over top. Okay, so you can kind of improv over top. Now, if you want to get more specific, you can right click here and go to major pentatonic. This is known to be better at melody. Gives you more of a Kanye sound. You really can't go wrong. You could literally just go up and down. It just fits in. Okay, so that's the key to melody, is understanding that it starts with harmony and then you move into melody. And it's all about chord voicing and advanced music theory concepts. So that's how you get into the next levels of music production. Dig deeper into music theory. I have a new course coming out soon. It's called Music Theory Magic. You can make chords like Scott Storch, Dr. Dre, Kanye West, Pharrell. They all use techniques like these. Tyler, the Creator even. So thank you for watching. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace.